Welcome to the finals. It is the grand finals here for the Snap Judgements League. For those who do not know, my name is Guest, also known as ItsGuestGaming, and I am honored to have you here now in Season 2, as we have now whittled our way down over weeks and weeks and weeks to the Final Four. We are at the Final Four, last man, women, they, he, she, them, it, everything in between standing, because man, have we seen some incredible gameplay over the last couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen, and it has all culminated right here to this Final Four. It is LP Hovercraft versus Bishkona in semifinal number 1. Then we'll be showcasing the BUTT himself, Butt versus Jimmy Dickens. And man, when I tell you there has been smack talk been happening behind the scenes, I am not kidding. I'm not even going to tell you some of the stuff that they've been saying in the private chats towards each other. Luckily, it's been all in good fun. They have been wonderful sports towards each other, but no pun intended. There is a lot happening, and we are going to be taking care of it right now. So thank you so much for being here, everybody. If you're interested in being a part of these events, listen, all you have to do is type in at any given point, !SJL for the Snap Judgements League, SJL. That's it. Go ahead, take a look. Take a look at what the Discord has to offer. Join the community. Talk to Pulse Glazer. Talk to Gunny. We have lots of people here waiting to, well, showcase the epicness that is the competitive Marvel Snap community. So, I'm right here in the background going to be telling our participants for the very first match that they can start officially sharing their streams, and we will be taking a look. Now, if you're watching this, as you can see up in that corner, we are on a 5-minute delay here on the live broadcast to help keep competitive integrity. We want to make sure for all of our viewers, our listeners, and everything in between that they understand that they can't cheat off of each other. They have private individual discords. They can't see anything whatsoever. We are trying our best to make sure that we keep that integrity. So thank you so much for understanding that the live chat is not really live necessarily, but you all are watching it 5 minutes delayed together, including our mod on hand, Gunny, who, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, inquiries, or song lyrics, please ask Gunny about the Snap Judgements League, and we will make sure we get you that information as fast as possible as well. So, if you're ready, I'm ready. I'm going to send that magical message to our competitors and say they can officially start their matchup right now. So they're getting their codes shared, and we're going to head on in. Man, this is going to be one hell of a way to sign off. For those who do not know, I have this stream, this moment, right now, and that is it. Because afterwards, I am heading on vacation personally, where I have a load of content coming out here on YouTube for the next several weeks, because I will be traveling to New York. While I'm in New York, I'm going to be making a, no pun intended, guest appearance over at Brookland on the 12th of July. So if you're interested in joining that, make sure you're following Power On Gaming over on X, or reach out to Super Tech God and harass him unnecessarily to make sure we get you that information. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for semifinal match number 1. Here we go. We're going into, as you can see, it is not a duck and LP Hovercraft. Now, just as a friendly reminder, not a duck is also known as Bishkona, but I just love saying not a duck, so we're going to be rocking that as the casted name. Let's see what they have to offer today in this matchup. Let's take a look at the decks also that both players are going to be highlighting. Right now, it looks like not a duck is showcasing here. As I'm gonna disappear my webcam for just a second, because we have the full visibility of the deck that they're using right now. Kitty Pryde, Angela, Athena, looks like Snowguard. Sorry, my apologies. Shadow King, as we're getting our connection a little stronger. There we go. Shadow King, Jeff, US Agent, Sage, Elsa Bloodstone, Killmonger, followed by Luke Cage, Mobius, and Nocturne. It is a full-on kitty tech type of deck. Let's see what they do with it as they're already starting to load up their lanes. in the center with Baxter Building. Now, fun fact, learned this just yesterday, courtesy of Call Me Sal. By the way, make sure you're following Call Me Sal at all times because he is so close to partner, y'all. He's going to be applying, so let's make sure we get him that support here on the Twitch side of things. Did you know that Baxter Building changes its color depending on if you are winning or losing the location? I did not know this. I learned this just the other day, because watch. It is currently a tie. Look at the color of the Baxter Building icon in the very center. Right here, it is currently neutral because it is a tie. As you gain the lead, it turns blue. As you lose it, it turns red. I never noticed this in a year and a half of playing this game, and hopefully you just learned something too. Let's look at how they're stacking the middle lane already to try to push that priority and debate what's going to be the strongest use of that Tarnax 4, because at the moment, at least they can get the benefit off of that Elsa Bloodstone by getting 2 more power to help compensate for the loss of that Mobius, and Jeff then can move free willy-nilly as needed. US Agent seems to be just a stats toss over in the left-hand side because Crimson Cosmos is absolutely killer. Absolutely killer for not a duck. They have to win mid and compete incredibly tall on it. Looking at the option of what can the Shadow King do, maybe that's going to be an overall stronger option. Go to the Luke Cage later on. Tough call to go back and forth on, but that's a very restrictive location, as looks like we got our signal finally now kicking into play. Debating about the run. As we get our Hope Summers to add on top of it, it is a Gladiator Sebastian Shaw combo. Super taking over that lane, and that Shadow King might be something you need to hang on to a little bit later on. But I'm not 100% sure yet, though, because with priority on the side of Hovercraft, they're also looking at, does undoing Silver Surfer do enough? This is a tough one right here. Vishkona decides to retreat later. Honestly, with such awful restrictions on these locations, probably the safest bet. Let's go to number 2 here. At the same time, we want to take a look at what both players are playing. It looks like they're going into LP Hovercraft is rocking a Surfer list of some kind. So what we're going to do is we're going to swing on over and take a look at it from the other point of view as well, because we have everybody here streaming their games live so we can showcase it for you here on stream. Let's pop them up into point of view right there. And LP Hovercraft, as we can see, has full on leaned into that Surfer line. Getting that Angela stack into Nidavellir feels pretty good, but at the same time, this is still a Nexus match. I'm curious to see if Hovercraft also ends up with any kind of location control that they can exercise, as they beef up the Sebastian Shaw right away. Start the ramping of the Athena. And they pop open a snap right here on turn 4, the second that Hope Summers drew into the line. They know they can clog that lane with a decent amount of power. They can drop in the Gladiator, then drop in the Hope Summers, then the Gladiator. So Surfer the entire package on up. I'm curious also to see, specifically with Hovercraft, how he adapts as the match unfolds, as they start to notice all of the different cards in each other's decks, because both players here, they are not competing with knowledge of each other's decks. This is just like you would face at any given moment on ladder or in Conquest. They're both finding everything out at the exact same time as we are, because let's be honest, that's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun. Heading into Luke's bar now, we see the Nova super heavy on the Silver Surfer Killmonger side. That Killmonger, whenever it decides to make its first appearance, could also be a huge cube swing. So I'm curious if that pops down as a primary choice in play line too. Debating about holding it, but with the Forge on the line, and opts for the skip rather than start the stack. Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. At least Hovercraft caught it. It would have been a free bounce, bring it back to the hand, and then plop down maybe Hope Summers. We'll see what they end up drawing or what plops on down first, because Red Guardian's going to be Hovercraft's best friend against these scalers, depending on which scaler drops first at any given point. Whether it be the Angela, whether it be the Athena, that's going to be Red Guardian's favorite snack throughout the battle. Angela comes on down first, so we could see Red Guardian get the reinforcement, but not yet. And it's a tough decision too, because they could put down the Mockingbird and then do that double bouncing effect first. Is it worth it to get rid of the rocks right now? How would you have played this line? And it's a retreat. Interesting retreat here. It's still a 9-8 lead, but an interesting retreat. Difficult situation to be in. Isle of Silence. Well, even without Forge, this is a great starting line. Taking a look at the line from the Silver Surfer point of view, you have your Brood, you have your Absman, and Mockingbird in hand, and Silver Surfer in hand. Looking to maybe get a little bit of a luck piece down here with that Forge on a turn 3 top deck, but no, unfortunately. No, unfortunately. In this matchup, it's also really interesting looking at the live chat that we have here on Twitch, where the audience is straight up divided. Straight up divided 50-50 on trying to figure out, is it the Little Movers deck that's going to take down Surfer, or will Surfer take down the Little Movers deck? I also like the notion of clogging Orcus Forge now, and Mobius restricting that Mockingbird's a real loss. change of plans here. Instead of going Brood into Abs, they opt to go Brood into Hope Summers. That will then permit them to get down a couple of 3 costs on turn, or 3 cost plus Sentinel on turn 5, and then play both Silver Surfer plus Absorbing Man on turn 6. Nice call. Nice call here. Look at a possible disabling. Use the Nova in case. I don't know if the Nova is a strong play personally, just because even if you do pull the Killmonger right now, you wouldn't be able to do the double Surfer plus Absorbing Man, which is stronger than playing down the Sentinel additionally. But they're going to opt for it. They're going to look for that Killmonger top deck, hoping that some 1 costs are going to drop simultaneously towards the end. They go into Orcus Forge, and Red Guardian takes out the Mobius, which is going to lower down the possibility on that Mockingbird. Mockingbird is back in the picture on the final turn here as Nocturne makes its Fisk Tower appearance and Thena starts its ramp up in the Orcus Forge, so a Sentinel pops into the not a duck hand. Now with 8 energy to work with. This is a tough call, because Surfer most likely is one of your primary targets to be played. You have the Elsa Bloodstone, so clogging into the Fisk Tower is tough. There's no ongoings to steal right now, even though Not a Duck is going to be on the board. If 2 cards also drop, that means that your left lane with double surfering going on off is going to be 22. The right-hand lane has 3 targets that get hit 5 times in total. It's not a very strong Fisk Tower, but even with a 9-power Mockingbird in the hand, where we could be looking at some combination of even Forge, Surfer, Mockingbird, or Sentinel, depending on where you need to play it, it's a very weak overall hand. So I like the retreat here by Hovercraft. It's only for 1 cube. There's no big snappings. I like this. I like this a lot.
Escape.
Tie game, y'all. Tie game. It's going to be a nail biter, cube by cube, 1 by 1, as Hovercraft is trying to take down Bishkona. Free cubes for everybody. Nothing happened. It is now 8-8. High stakes. Good call here with the Nova. Looking at maybe Hope Summers over in the right. Grand Central could be an early clog too, but Gladiator in the mid looks good. Get a couple of card draws, try to compete for that middle lane, knowing that Grand Central is going to pull something down. If they can get that Surfer in the hand, Grand Central could be a free play. They're looking at the mana growth over in the vault. Rather than a potential early explosion, they look at the mana growth, which plays into watching if Nocturne makes the move here on turn 4 to potentially disable Asgard. Without having Silver Surfer in hand, looking at how Hovercraft is going to be trying to navigate tech-wise around Nott's game plan, this should be interesting. Because Gladiator is pretty much a guaranteed kill every single time. Killmonger pops off and immediately gets the bonus over to Gladiator and Hope Summers. Not the ideal play all the time, but I like that they have that teched in to then later build on their 1-drops. This could also be a play here where we end up seeing Silver Surfer potentially even drop down. Because if Surfer drops down second and then Absman gets pulled, the Absman will copy the Surfer. However, if Absman drops, it needs to have some benefit. It wouldn't clog everything, but it would give some good flexibility. Just going forward, Forge into Brood. If it pulls the Abs Man, it's going to copy the Brood. If it pulls the Surfer, they can then later do Absorbing Man. Just pretty nice in the Asgard lane. That would bring it to a total of 15 when all is said and done. Sorry, more than that. Grand Central could be a huge player here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bishkona move that Nocturne over into the vault. They opt to not entirely. Wow. Okay. 2 cubes down off of Nott's side, 8-6 lead for Hovercraft. The Hala Destruction with Nova is an interesting play on turn 4. I would consider potentially holding the Nova since the Hope Summers is also in hand, and that could be a 1-2 punch for destruction. There's no harm in holding. Cloning Vats looks and feels pretty good with Silver Surfer also in the hand. And if they're going to start loading the cloning vats with the Forge. And a top deck Sebastian Shaw plus another Forge on top of it. There could be a lot of power that drops down on the board right here. You could start the cycle of Forge, Sebastian Shaw, Surfer, just those, ramp them up consistently. Instead, they're going to go for the Hope Summers line to protect over in Hala as Sage makes its first appearance. Getting duplicates, and we are cloning all of the Vats. All of the Angeli, all of the Sages, all of the Forges. And now you start thinking about hand clock. Is it more beneficial to have multiple Sebastian Shaws? Is it more beneficial to have multiple Gladiators? More beneficial to have multiple Novas? Destroy them all with Killmonger? It's a tough call here, but they have the flexibility of the 1s, 2s, and 3s. The 1s, 2s, and 3s. Now with another top deck on top of it, as we welcome in Braude's community over from the Twitch side. Welcome on in, everyone. We are recording this also for YouTube, so make sure you say hi. Ooh. And the multiplicity of the Sebastian Shaw. With a singular Surfer plus Killmonger, or even just a singular Killmonger, that could be enough to cause some chaos. No Surfer potentially needed. Cloning Vats is going to get its full clog on. As we see Nova drop, the second Elsa Bloodstone drop, probably Jeff. Yep, there's the Jeff. Ramp up the Angela. Now remember, they are also sitting on a 3/4 Sage in their hand, looking at where the Jeff could potentially move to. And currently debating what lanes do they need to steal to win this entire match. 3 Novas exploding with 2 Sebastian Shaws on the board. Sacrificing the middle lane and basically contemplating what does that Sage get to right now, because Hovercraft has the priority, which means Hope Summers shoots to 9, Gladiator shoots to 11, Forge shoots to 5, and Sebastian Shaw shoots up to 17. So Sage is going to go from 4, add on another 10 power onto it, so 14. Not going to be enough over in the left-hand lane. Possibly a steal incoming in the right, though. Because that 3/4, even if Jeff moves over, that 3/4 going off at least once, that's tough. That's gonna be a really close lane. And this one's for 4 cubes here. This is a huge play. If Bishkona calls it, they do, and they compete over for the right-hand side. Here we go. Sebastian Shaw, that's going to secure the left. Here comes the Killmongers, and the slowest animations in Marvel Snap as Sebastian Shaw starts ranking up all of those extra +2s. The fast forward graciously kicks in for the sake of content as we move over to the cloning vats and watch from the Shadow King, drop it all the way down. There's the Jeff, and Bishkona steals 4 cubes away from the hovercraft. Big Shadow King play right there, ladies and gentlemen. The priority throw worked to the benefit, and it all came down to where was that final piece going to drop. Were we going to see it in the middle lane for competition, or were we going to see it in the right? And they went to go for the right by forfeiting the left. Great play there by Bishkona, also known as not a duck. Great reads right there. That Shadow King, the detriment of that Shadow King is insane. We start it all again. Now moving 6-4 lead, now favoring Bishkona here in the semifinals. Just so you know, on top of this, as we head into the semifinals and finals today, all of our participants have already won at least $75. At least. If they move into the finals, they've won at least $150. And if they win the whole kit and caboodle today, they'll be walking home with $300 in today's competition. So congratulations, all 4 of these participants have won each of their pods. They've already each won their quarterfinal matches. Moving on, and as you can see, we are now here in the semifinals as we see a snap come from Bishkona on the opposite side. The double potential movement of Strange Academy causes a lot of chaos for a Surfer deck. Knowing that Mirror Dimension could copy Strange Academy, even if Bishkona has nothing in their hand of substance, this is a great snap. This is a great snap utilizing the locations. Beautiful move by Bishkona, who takes a 6-2 lead, and now Hovercraft has got to come back and win 3 games in a row as we move into round number 8 and open up with Mockingbird, Silver Surfer, and Absorbing Man in the opening hand. No littles on the first 2 turns. That's not a great start for Hovercraft here. Gonna need some big assistance, and Grand Citadel might actually present that. Excuse me, Grand Central might actually present that. A free extra 4 power via the locations feels pretty good to help steal that location, knowing that they can't even play on it on 5. Talk about a chaotic turn 5 here. Everything's going to be locked into the Avengers compound. Then you're going to have Stark Tower add on +2 power into every card in the middle lane. Then the Grand Central's going to pull a random card out of the hand. We have all of the chaos about to happen right now, all because of turn 5. Looking at how does the RNG of Grand Central pay out better? Oh, this is scary here. Nova into Brood. There we go. They go for the Clog. Mobius coming down on 3 and 4 has been consistent. Absolutely consistent. It's been detrimental to watch because that Mockingbird has been a dead card for Hovercraft this entire match. We've seen it happen once where there was even a potential for that card to come on down on the final play, and it has not yet. Looking to clog up the entire board, we get the Abs Man following from that Brood, so they're going to get the 3 cards down. Then we'll watch Stark Tower beef up the Sebastian Shaw up to 8 power with a semi-potentially meaningless Nova, because depending on what Grand Central pulls in on top of it, it pulls a Killmonger, extra power, that thing is gone. Hits the Surfer, we have a potentially big problem here for Hovercraft, as the overcommit might be too much. Here we go. Absorbing Man comes on down, puts a couple of Broodlings into Avengers compound. Thena gets the 1-2 punch on top of Angela as Sage goes over the top, stacks up huge. Stark Tower adds on those +2. Sebastian Shaw shoots up to 8. Jeff moves up to 5, and the Grand Central's gonna pull on down the Mockingbird for the big power in Grand Central as Killmonger on the opposite side explodes that Nova, bringing the Mockingbird all the way up to 10 power, loading up both sides of the battlefield. There's a 10 power point differential still currently over an Avengers compound, which even with a Silver Surfer on top of it is not gonna have enough power to go over that. The Red Guardian would only be hitting the Mobius on the left-hand side. If Jeff stays, of course, that's the Red Guardian target. So even with a 5-point swing, that's gonna bring 18 over into Avengers compound and drop Mobius down to 23. Adding on those 6 power over on top of that, if 2 cards get played, I don't think that's enough, because they drop down to 23. If Mobius gets hit, Thena goes back up, it goes to 26. I think that's what they just came to realize by backing out. Your left lane is essentially forfeit. You might need to compete for right. If they drop this on down, that's 3, 2, 3, that's 6 over in there. Oh, that's 6 power getting added on. 9 is 24. They drop only 2 cards. I don't think they can win the left-hand lane. I don't think he can win the left-hand lane. He feels the same, and for his final 2 cubes, for his season 2 life, he puts everything in the mid and locks it in. Bishkona is trying to figure out how he can knock out Hovercraft right now. It's all about the middle lane. Does Bishkona, with the 3 cards left in their hand, have it? They load up the mid. It is a mid competition. Red Guardian's going to take out some power away from the Jeff. Here comes the Silver Surfer, ramping up that middle lane. Put 2 onto Red, 2 to add on another 2 for the Sebastian Shaw. The number to beat is 22. There's the U.S. Agent. There's the Elsa Bloodstone. There's the Kitty Pryde. It only goes to 15, and Hovercraft lives to fight another day as we move on into round number 9 as Bishkona is trying to knock out Hovercraft. Great call by Hovercraft, doing that last minute calculation to see, was there any potential play in the left to try and take down and steal it from that side. With this Athena deck, it does not look like that is the case, and a great location for Hovercraft pops in. He is begging to see Silver Surfer in his hand. Monster Island could allow for Mockingbird to actually drop down for the very first time this match, depending on if in the first 6 pulls, if Bishkona already pulled Mobius or not. There's the Surfer. Hovercraft breathes a sigh of relief. Now looking at the board space more than anything else, trying to decide what they want to do. Priority is leading over to Bishkona, so the Red Guardian would have a double hit if it does hit anything in Kamar Taj. There's nothing played in there. The Nocturne looking to potentially remove that double activation. Still no Mobius has been dropped yet, but trying to get that Absorbing Man maybe to hit the Nocturne is a big call. That could save Hovercraft in one move. Does Bishkona put anything lower than 5 power, which is most of their deck, into Monster Island on this turn? They do. They go for the Elsa Bloodstone plus Kitty Pryde package. That's going to disable Elsa. So Nocturne still has the ability to move. Gets at least a little bit of usage out of Elsa Bloodstone there. And now here on turn 5, with no energy ramp, so 1 Surfer to drop, Hovercraft has to figure out how can he stack it. The Nova's a great call here, where we could even see on top of it Brood or Sebastian Shaw, then the Surfer kicker. The sacrifice on it is that the middle lane doesn't do a thing, but the amount of power that grows into that middle lane still already sitting at 14, which adds on another 9. Nocturne opts to remove the Kamar Taj, and it's Sanctum Sanctorum! Sanctum Sanctorum locks the location as Nova explodes in the rickety bridge. Nova's explosion in Rickety Bridge might have just been enough to steal Sanctum Sanctorum for Hovercraft. We still have Sebastian Shaw, who's going to be adding on 8 power in this situation, while US Agent does work in Monster Island, hitting 3 cards for that -4. So that just became a 2-15 swing for Bishkona. While adding another 8 power to Monster Island via the Shaw and Silver Surfer. Red Guardian's going to be a steal here, and this essentially comes down to, does Jeff exist? If Not has Jeff in hand, this could be it. Bishkona trying to figure out every way around it, if there's any way around it. What's the move? They put one card in there and it's just a Luke Cage to bring the power back in the mid. Here comes the Surfer, activates everything all around, brings up the Sanctum Sanctorum to 6, the Sebastian Shaw to 8, and the points stay in favor of Hovercraft. We have a 10-round semifinal, ladies and gentlemen, down to their final 2 cubes each. What an absolutely insane opening match here for the semifinals. Luke Cage putting in work to swing more power into the center lane, trying to beat the tiebreaker, but the Surfer goes over the top. No Jeff in hand means it is potentially GG's for both players now in round 10, as Hub gifts an armor over to Hovercraft and a lane clogging miniaturized lab drops down first in the center. Wow. Hydrate, everybody. And a protected Thena into the miniaturized lab. That's a lot of power that they're going to have to keep up with now. Weird World in round 10. Holy whoa. With no Surfer on the side of Hovercraft. No Surfer on the side of Hovercraft. Yet at the same time, Bishkona has a bunch of 3s potentially in their hand, and then Hovercraft now has the Shadow King. Y'all, this back and forth is nuts. The level of unpredictability here. As the Luke Cage gets eliminated via the Gladiator pull just for power, it could potentially still hurt Hovercraft because they lost that option. As now they play into the Red Guardian. Red Guardian removes the Elsa Bloodstone, as the Hub had gifted Bishkona a Thor. It's just a 3/4 because, as you see, it kills the draw for Hovercraft, who ends up with a Mjolnir because reasons. Getting the Mockingbird out just to have out the Mockingbird is a good call here. There's good power still. 2 cards are going to drop, so we're going to watch Thena rise a little bit here, as Forge is going to reinforce a Nocturne over into Weird World for 7. That movable 7 power could be a difference maker, as Mjolnir now has a purpose thanks to Sage. That's an extra card that will give 2 power over to Sage. Could they steal it right here? Where does the Nocturne move if Nocturne moves? Your highest power output's probably coming from the Sage, right? The only thing that the US agent could really be hitting at this point as well is Absorbing Man. If Nocturne moves mid, with Shadow King being dropped, Oh man, the Killmonger. Here comes the Shadow King. It reduces it down. There goes the Mjolnir. It's a lane clog. Sage factors in. It only gets 8. There's the theater ramp. And amazingly, Hovercraft comes back in a Weird World match. Hovercraft comes back to win 3 in a row in a nail biter. I am in shock right now as the small little Athena deck put up one hell of a battle. Vishkona did beautifully, absolutely beautifully with that matchup. They ran it through in every potential way, shape, and form. What an amazing honor it was to even just watch it, yet alone be able to cast it here live on Twitch. Please, in the chat, throw a whole bunch of like chaos into the chat. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. Like every emote you have, please. Let's show some support for these players because that was an amazing matchup. We now will see Hovercraft move forward into the final. They're going to take a break, as will we. We're going to get settled in right here. We're going to move into seeing what Jimmy Dickens versus the BUTT himself have to bring to the table. Stick around, y'all. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Y'all. Y'all. When I tell you the amount of smack talk that is happening behind the scenes right now between our next 2 semifinalists, it has been nonstop. It has been non-stop. Absolutely chaotic. And I am all here for it. I hope you all are ready for one of the most bantered matchups currently happening right now in Marvel Snap. It is Butt versus Jimmy Dickens. And y'all, they are sharing codes. We are getting ready to see the matchup live here on Twitch right now and also here on YouTube. Y'all, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button down below because there is a load of content coming out over the next few weeks. Shorts, videos, card guides, tier lists, all these things while I'm on vacation, and I greatly appreciate the support in the meanwhile. And for all of you here on Twitch, the same thing is appreciated. Let's get to the battle. Battle is officially live. It is Butt versus Jimmy Dickens. Here we go. As we see Mockingbird, Nico, Sentry, Carnage in the opening hand with some beautiful variants to split. Take the Destroy, Sacrifice of the Carnage, get it out of the Nidavellir. Get a couple more card draws as Lady Deathstrike and Cable now pop in. Little bit of mill, little bit of chaos. As the emotes fly. Okay. Y'all, it's a pixie deck. It's a pixie deck. We have a God knows what's going to happen deck. Jimmy doesn't want to know either. I love the amount of banter. All right. We've gotten a little bit of information from both players now. Now they start to analyze from there. Cersei, Mysterio, man. The chaos is here. Lady Deathstrike on the destroy line. Cersei for the RNG. Not gonna lie, I am incredibly surprised to see Cersei in a competitive aspect here. So will the RNG be the rise or downfall here for the BUTT? As Wakandan Embassy gives a little bit more power and incentive, especially with a Mysterio in hand, that's gotta feel really good. That's also a 1/8 demon in the hand of Jimmy Dickens. You gotta keep an eye out on that. As both players drop down dueling Mysterios. You get 2, you get 2, you get 2. Somebody also gets 6. With the Monster Island on top of it. Board's getting clogged piece by piece. I wonder if either player is running a Mobius. Or are they both playing incredibly selfish decks and just going all in on that? No defense. If so, we're gonna see some big point totals. Big point totals. Right now, an evenly matched up board. Mockingbird in the mid, Demon in the mid. So the small, tiny advantage as we get a snap. Now knowing that the Killmonger is going to destroy Demon in the middle. Goodbye, Demon. Goodbye, Hood. Goodbye, Hood. As Sentry in his old glory at 410 drops into Thunderbolt's tower. Looking at the board state, it looks like Butt might be sacrificing the Thunderbolt's tower entirely here as Lady Deathstrike cleans up the lane a little bit. White Widow also really drives that nail home. But we could see a surprise Cersei play here. There wasn't enough destruction on the board to get that death down to 1 for a double play. But we could see the throne room have a big advantage change here. With Throne Room coming in and the Sentry switching, does Jimmy Dickens have a death in their hand also? If so, advantage goes to Jimmy in the left. Victory. Jimmy doesn't and backs away. Wow. All of the chaos here. Both players playing very similar decks and both very familiar with each other's play styles. So now it's a little bit of a push to figure out how to take that over advantage play. The Pixie variation for Jimmy Dickens is very interesting. Because if they can consistently drop that down on turn 2, we could see some big surprises. They do it again. Here comes the Pixie and looks like the Hood simultaneously, courtesy of the Tinkerer's Workshop. Hood on Hood again. as Cable's gonna steal a Pixied Nico at 4-2, which does not feel good. As Baxter Building illuminates blue in the right lane. And Butt's able to get down at least the Mockingbird into Baxter Building quickly. Exploding squirrels, exploding hoods. 5 deaths are going to drop down that death to 3 when all is said and done, I believe. Sorry, 4. No, 3. I was right. I was right. And now the unpredictability of Pixie might start to come into play here. Here comes Cersei, who flips a Juggernaut! Juggernaut! OP flip! As Iron Lad copies the Sentry and throws in a Void! The blessings and curses of Cersei at the same time, and now Baxter Building is no longer a guarantee in one move. What's the draw? Another Sentry from the Iron Lad play. Okay, so with the potential sacrifice of Baxter Building, the whole swing then goes down to 16 in the left-hand lane, and it would be a canceled to 0. This puts 14 into the middle lane, knowing that Baxter Building's looking to do a flip. If it does the flip back over, you've got 4 in Adventurer's Compound, plus you've got, 4 in Adventurer's Compound, and then you move to 6 in the Tinkerer's Workshop. The real Mysterio is there too, so that goes up another 4. And this all really comes down to, do they think they need to compete in the Baxter Building or not? If they throw the Baxter Building for 14, is the Chaos of Pixie about to take off more than 2 cubes from Butt? They compete for the Baxter Building as anticipated. Here comes the Death and Nico Minoru. 14's gonna be the grand total. Mockingbird swings it on over, and Cannonball knocks out the Death. Cannonball comes on into the rescue and saves a couple cubes from being knocked off of the total from Jimmy Dickens. It is now 8-7 as Cannonball Gaming has entered the Snap Judgements League, ladies and gentlemen. Are you excited? Woo! Oh, man. Sokovia is tossing an LDS and a White Widow. Okay. Probably hurts on the Butt side more. Yeah. Both are detrimental, but just at very different turns. Here we go. There's your Mysterios. Not worried about the destroy line. As Pixie on 2 makes the hit again. Do they look to ramp quickly and clean only 1 location? I mean, Luke's bar is a big favor here. Is in big favor, I should say. This is a very solid combination of both cards and hand in the favor of... I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a snap. I would not be surprised if we saw a snap. There's the void drop. Nico goes and comes as debris clogs the left. No Killmonger in hand yet. But the magic of Carnage is really only there for cleanliness at this point. Keeping that lane clear as often as possible. Pixie allowing that debris to drop in, so capitalizing on what is typically a negative effect. The negative effect of Pixie turning that 3 into something more expensive now actually ends up favoring Jimmy Dickens, where they can plop more power down in that lane considering that they were behind on it. Nico gonna be able to move a card over into Luke's bar, and it's a Mockingbird at that. As Carnage cleans up a little bit in the bar, pops back in the hand. Now with Death on the board, and a pretty confident lead over in Pet Mansion, they're just starting to stack little bits of power, piece by piece, into the middle lane. This will drop a squirrel in there, plus the real Mysterio's in there. So it's currently sitting at 17 when all is said and done. I think Jimmy's got to decide if there's any way to steal Pet Mansion for security, as Cersei drops into Crimson Cosmos and it turns into Killmonger, clearing up the left lane as Phoenix Force brings back a hood and puts another demon in the hand of Jimmy. Now with a floating 1-2, as Squirrel Girl reclogs the Pet Mansion, it's over for 2 cubes in round 3. What a power swing on the Crimson Cosmos. Going up with the Phoenix Force, back down with the Demon. Sorry, round 4, wow. I got thrown off by that because that was just like an insane combination of cards on turn 6. Watching the flips. Cersei is one of the most exciting cards to be a caster for in Marvel Snap because you never know what's going to happen. Man. Damn. Insane. All right. Pixie does the smack. Cable takes on a 5-4 Mysterio. Not what the butt had in mind. Do they destroy the right lane now, start dropping down the death? Or are they able to keep a little protection online? The 5-4 Mysterio desperately wants to be addressed. But it looks like they're going to hold off in hopes that maybe they can get a Killmonger working. That would pose a potential power swing. Sorry, not power, a prio swing. As now they get the Squirrel Girl to drop. Multiple different levels of destruction incoming. First the Carnage, then the Killmonger even. Maybe the Lady Deathstrike instead, as debris fills up to be the destruction. Here's your squirrels, and here's your Carnage. Debris might be the best friend at the moment that Butt didn't realize they needed, because now they're sitting on Killmonger to drop it all down. So it's better to get the death out versus the Mockingbird. How many destroys altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a free death. But Mockingbird is nothing. Not a whole lot of options now with these draws. if the Dream Dimension wasn't in play, being able to drop both Killmonger and as we lost our connection for a second, but we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes the Cannonball who knocks over the Carnage into sewer system. They have a second Cannonball now via the Nico. Ooh, wow. Ooh, order. Careful, but because remember, Nico behind Dream Dimension is going to convert the card after it. Oh, be careful. Oh, be careful. Don't make the same mistake. Okay, we're good. The best anxiety is snap anxiety. As he decides to back away for 2. Small advantage still. It is 6-5 going into round number 6. It's a small advantage, but one nevertheless. But the free gift of Grand Central already dropping. Now, the Hub is an interesting card here. I mean, gifting an interesting card here with the Sentinel. Because that Sentinel could be great fodder later on as we get double draws via the Nico's destruction of the Hood. Demon in hand, Cersei in hand, LDS in hand, squirrels all over the board. Nico on their end is a location changer with an Oscorp Tower in the right. And he goes to try to push Jimmy in for 4. Jimmy says, I'm not dealing with the free cards. I'm not dealing with the Oscorp. I gotta back away off of 2, and now it's a 6-3 advantage for the BUTT. High stakes round number 7. Nico's on draw with Hood and Mockingbird to start us off. Crown City, nice prio location. And he's playing aggressive, and they go for it. This is for Jimmy's competitive life right here. Looking to play out, take advantage potentially of the Crown City. Here's the Nico, who's probably targeting the Hood to get a double demon on the board with the RNG of Tarnax on top. You get a demon, you get a demon. Mockingbird drops down with Pixie into Tarnax. Good flip here. Converts into a White Widow to undo the guaranteed advantage in Crown City on that turn. Nice play here. And a Mojo World needing the clog, where it's typically a location you're looking to thin out. The Demon Lady Deathstrike feels good in that lane. Mysterio is going to flip, though, into Domino, so a 3 power increase, woohoo, versus the Mysterio on Jimmy's side, which flips into Shadow King, so almost dead to nothing. As he contemplates dropping the 0-9 Mockingbird. Oh, we might see some amazing RNG play out to the benefit of the BUTT. It looks like we have a Cersei target, ladies and gentlemen, as Carnage clears up Mojo World a tad. Mockingbird drops down, converts into Cersei, which converts the Widow's Kiss into Howard the Duck, and the Domino into Venom, who eats it all up. Whoa! You thought you had RNG before. Let me show you a location that gives you double the RNG. Now with the 312, they have to decide. Do they keep it? Do they toss it? What do they do? Clears the rock, clears the Mysterio if they go down the LDS line. The Killmonger removes the demon in the right, and that's probably the biggest hurt out of the scenario. I like the LDS call here a lot. I like the LDS call here a lot. That would be the play I would lock in for turn 5. To know what your location is right off the bat. You have a 3-card lead potentially into Mojo World, even though Jimmy has lost priority and could still be dropping 2 cards in the Mojo World on this turn. Second guessing himself as he drops a card into Crown City. There goes the illusion, there goes the rock, there goes the piece. They got their own Cersei, who drags over the carnage to clog the Crown City as Mr. Sinister puts the clone in, and they take the lead in Crown City, and now it is tied. It is tied. Oh my gosh. If they drop death into Tarnax, it only changes into death. They're hoping that the tie via the reveal of the Mysterio is enough versus what could be the RNG of needing to win Tarnax. And they clog Mojo World. Here's your flip, y'all. It's a Magneto, Death, Thena, Yellow Jacket, Hood, Demon in the Hand, Worthless, adds on up Mockingbird and Cannonball, who smacks out the Death over into the right. It reveals the Crown City's Mysterio illusion. Athena goes up. Mojo World is lost by Jimmy Dickens, and the tiebreaker via the 4-3 advantage in Mojo World gets us down to 3 cubes apiece on an even tie. It is Butt versus Jimmy Dickens. Let's go to round number 8. What a combo. With an opening Project Pegasus. Holy crap. Looks like we have a Mysterio on the opposite side already. Mockingbird and Hood. There's Mysterio 1, Mysterio 2, Mysterio 3. White Widow, give us a kiss. Pet Mansion. Might as well take the destruction while you can. I like it. Man, I hope y'all are having as good of a time as I am with this. What a randomness. What a matchup between these two players. And Butt pushes Jimmy in. He pushes it in. This is it for the semifinal. Here's a Cable who draws the Cersei out of Jimmy's deck. Destroy, draw 2, but definitely gonna be missing that Cersei right there. Okay, we have a Bifrost. So Carnage, Hood, and Void would be the lane. They're also noting that they're doing the switch here. If they played down the Sentry now, they're also going to reveal that Cersei, and that Cersei would then show that it came from Cable, letting Jimmy know that this is what I pulled. So the unpredictability of hoping for that top deck that Jimmy might be currently waiting on right now, that information out there going into a turn 6 is tough. As they only drop a demon into the Bifrost. Here's the Sentry putting their own Void over and clogging the right. They clogged the right for a forfeit. That lane is essentially entirely gone with no way to clean it. Without Death in hand, I don't understand why they're playing Lady Deathstrike personally. But I know I'm missing something. This is why these players are in the semifinal, and I'm here talking to you. They have worked their way through this entire season, game by game, match by match, and now are down to their final 2 turns to decide who moves to the final. Here comes LDS on the clean. Cleans it all up. Whole side clear. 16-point lead. Annihilus does nothing. There's your location switch. Now with a death on board. Squirrels to clog and a Sentry. That's 21 power in the left on the swing. 18 on the right. And 13 in the mid. Mysterio clone though, Mysterio illusion is currently showing 0, but it's most likely going to be that 4, unless if there was an odd destruction that was missed via the LDS. This is it. This is it. Is it about the mid? Is it about the right? Which location do you steal if you're Jimmy? Which location do you steal if you're Butt? Here we go. He locks it in and undoes it, second guessing himself again, trying to figure out what to do. Timer starting to run on out. This is the end of the semifinals here. Is it the move? No, he makes a last minute switch and pops it down, so Sentry would be the potential cannonball target. Here it goes. There's your Squirrel Girl. Puts a couple of squirrels down. Death into the left and a Sentry going second. Demon then goes in. Cannonball's gonna move on over the Death, and that swings the lane. That swings the lane. And Jimmy Dickens has been defeated by the Butt. That's a sentence I wasn't expecting to say today, ladies and gentlemen. What a match. What a match going all the way to the incredible final there. That means it has been decided. We have a grand final coming on in. I'll see y'all in 5 minutes. Stick around. What a day. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Y'all, it has happened. It has happened. We have finally, after weeks and weeks, we have finally made it to the grand final. We have had amazing matches showcased over the last several weeks. And now it is down to 2. It is down to 2. It is down to the hovercraft. It is down to the Butt. It is down to figure out who's going to be taking home the crown. The crown here for season 2 of the Snap Judgements League. I'm going to tell our players now to go ahead and start their match. If you're excited, throw an emote in the chat, because y'all, we have seen incredible gameplay today, and I think it's worth it to say I highly expect a chaotic, amazing, fun grand final here And I hope y'all are ready because I know they are. They're matching up right now. Hovercraft going back in with that amazing control surfer deck. Hope you all have had a great time today. I really do. I've had a great time today already, and we haven't even had the final. Oh. Everybody, I know you're excited too. So stretch, let it go. Let's go. Codes are being shared. Hopefully not for 5 whole minutes and then somebody snipes it. This is why we are having today's stream on a 5-minute delay, this exact moment, just in case. Just in case. So in the live chat here, I ask all of you 2 things. Number 1, let me know in the chat if you had the grand final at your hands, what deck would you bring in and why? And I ask the same question to my YouTube audience. If you had to go in for this prize pool, what would you bring in and why? What is your best deck in Marvel Snap? Let's see what Hovercraft can do this time, as they don't even freaking matter. We open up location 1, round 1 here of the grand final with a God knows what the hell it's gonna be matchup. It's district decks in round 1. Luckily, Hovercraft top deck, well, opening hand drew their Mockingbird. As Mysterios drop down. Here's a Master Mold feeding the Sentinels to clog the hand. As a Rhino looks to undo the perk of the Gamma Lab. Drop down the Mockingbird, remove all those Gamma Rays as Black Swan, everybody's favorite season pass, drops in. Now the advantage here, at least with Black Swan, is that if there are any 1-cost cards, they could also be dropped into Crimson Cosmos and take a small little priority lead in that lane on this turn. We get a snap from Hovercraft, who likes the combination of that 2-cost Mockingbird with really anything. And they Jean Grey it over in District X. It's all about the top draw. Ooh. What a combination here, as Nocturne has the ability to move out of the District X. Here's a Sentinel. We know the Sentinel can move over, the Nocturne can move over into Crimson Cosmos. And Agatha's the top deck draw into District X. Oh my God. What an opening round for Hovercraft, who commits it for 4, who gets the gift of a 14 power card into the controlled Jean Grey lane. With Mockingbird putting 9 more power into the ruins. Is the grand final really gonna have a 4-cube advantage on a District X Agatha turn 6? Show us the ruins, ladies and gentlemen. Mockingbird's going down for 9. Where's the real Mysterio? Here's your Agatha and Mockingbird. Sasquatch takes the ruins. And for 4 cubes, the Hovercraft goes big and misses. Holy. That's the first time in both semifinals and now the finals that we have had more than 2 cubes get lost in any of the low stakes rounds. And another awful combination of locations here for hovercraft. Danger room, then mixing to a space throne. As Butt looks like they're throwing down Athena early. I was expecting to see a White Widow. I got a little scared there for hovercraft. All right, so 2 turns. Ooh. That's a snap condition. Yeah, absolutely. Steal the lane. Snap condition. Butt knows better. Moves away. Good play here. Good play here. And a peek. I can't make this up. Now a peak drops. So the good news is a 2/3 surfer. The bad news is both of your biggest cards were hurt. As it moves to a dream dimension. Additionally. With a ridiculous amount of rocks. Do you deactivate the Athena again? Or do you prep ahead of time and get ready for the Hope Summers? Morph makes its appearance. Morph makes its appearance. And now the 4/3 Shaw is officially known. That's important here. The 4/3 Shaw is known that it's already in hand. Tough decisions here for hovercraft. How do they stack their power and where? Knowing that Dream Dimension's also coming in to restrict everything next turn. Red Guardian's able to hit on the Athena. It misses the Mysterio. And now they at least sit on 6. Remember, that'll be a 2/3 Surfer, a 2/2 Forge, and a 3/2 Brood. If they play just a singular card, they will have the 7 to work with. Hoping for an Absman top deck. The only reason to play the Brood out second with just a rock. Hoping on an Absman top deck. But with the uncertainty of that, they go all in on hoping for the Absman top deck. Here we go. There's the Angela and a Mockingbird on the draw. Just a rock, just a Brood. Do they hit on Abs? They don't. They whiff. They whiff. With the Surfer dropping down, it's essentially a sacrifice in Subterranean. The sacrifice in Subterranean and a very weak amount of power over in the peak. This is a good retreat. 9-6 now. 9-6. Favor. But wow, what a shock there on the final turn there. We had the retreats happen, both ended. And now at least they finally open up with Absorbing Man, who felt bad for not appearing in the last match. So he's the first card into the hand on this one. Raft in hand, Raft on the board with a Brood. Look towards the free card. This is a good snap condition here, as Hovercraft needs to recover some cubes, and in the low stakes, this is a good spot to push. One, two, three, four cards drop down. We could see a Sasquatch on the next turn simultaneously as they try to compete for the Raft. As now I feel like we may end up needing to see Sebastian Shaw into the Raft. With 4 cards dropping, that means that Sasquatch exists as a potential play. Sasquatch plus Kitty Pryde plus another card could be enough here. They opt only on Mobius. They can't get it out later on, and a huge friendly Magneto drops in while Iron Man hits into the Raft. Oh, man. Do Magneto now to get an extra energy, and then go Surfer Abs? It's a very tall lane with Shaw plus Magneto. They look at a mid-clog. I like the mid-clog here. I do like the mid-clog here. I think right now Hovercraft is basically trying to decide how can he win without the Iron Man lane. Even though he's got big plays here, it's all about the Iron Man lane. Mockingbird drops down, that lane is gone. Takes the small advantage in Hell's Kitchen, and now has that free Magneto. Priority was thrown, so all of the cards will reveal first. Magneto's effect could be the rise and downfall here on this turn, and this is for 4 cubes again. Hovercraft did not have a good time the last time we saw 4 cubes on the bet for turn 6. Is the Nova exploding worth it? If Mysterio's actually on the right, that lane's going to shoot up to 26. He opts for the Killmonger and Surfer. He's going to try to snipe the Raft. That's going to add 12 power into the Raft. We get a big old Juggernaut moving into the Pet Mansion as Sage stacks there, and they're going to steal it. Even with the movement of Sage and Juggernaut, that's a 4 officially in Hell's Kitchen. Here's the explosion of the Nova. That's gonna put power everywhere, and Surfer's gonna stack everything over the top. Take a big whiff, y'all. That might be a casserole. Where's Mysterio? It was in the right. It's not a casserole. It can stay in the oven. It can stay in the oven. But it is revenge from the first round. That's a 4-cube knockoff. Hovercraft is right back in it, just like that. We know the opening hand here for Hovercraft. While we're here in turn 1, we're gonna do a game switch. Let's go take a look at the point of view from the other side now. We're gonna switch on over to the stream from the point of view of the one, the only Mr. Butt. Their opening hand now is Kitty Pryde, Juggernaut, Iron Man, Morph. We get the Mysterios also down. Now playing from behind as a gift of a Mockingbird top decks on turn 3, sending a rock over to the other side with a negative zone, which is not a good location for Hovercraft Surfer deck, plus the Crimson Cosmos, which is an awful location for the Surfer deck as well. This is essentially a guarantee right here. This is a guarantee right here. They take the snap, they run away with it. Locations were not the friend right there of Hovercraft for another 2 cubes, and Butt takes a 5-4 lead heading into round number 6. On the live stream here, thank you so much to Pulse Glazer, who gifts out 5 subs as well. I greatly appreciate you putting this together. To say the minimum, the Snap Judgments League has been an incredible part here of this channel. We will be back for season 3, casting matches as well. Who knows what else is going to happen, because we see that happening here. We never know what these locations are going to do. We now have a Sanctum Sanctorum getting thrown into the mix, which actually hurts that Juggernaut play tremendously to be a potential lane gifter. Energy versus power. Hotel Inferno giving all of its guests different perks. Gladiator's gonna make a pull though. It's the Ravona. Not too terrible of a hit specifically on this round, just because they already had down Thena and Angela. That helps a lot. Doesn't help with Sage, but it does help overall with what would be the opening turn 3 mechanic and move play. Throw even more power here, and it looks like they're setting up to use the Sanctum Sanctorum as a yeet location intentionally. Start doing the math, y'all. Brood finally makes its appearance on turn 5 in Nidavellir. Even if Juggernaut's able to send something over into the Sanctum Sanctorum, they need to get 3 competitive cards over into Nidavellir. Juggernaut can hit out something. Mysterio can put down a card into Sanctum for no good reason. And while looking at 3 cards needing to drop, knowing that 3 cards are also going to ramp up in Hotel Inferno, I don't see a way out of this. I don't. And both players are not happy with their final turns. It's a double retreat, and it remains 5-4. Ooh. Okay. Portal gifting a Magneto again. Big for that potential conversion. Unfortunately, it's the solo play for turn 6. So all of the other ramping would have to play on out. What's nice, though, is that they are opening up with both ramp cards. And I'm blocking the block of the Crimson Cosmos. The The block of the Crimson Cosmos stops one of the Mysterio illusions from dropping. If it drops on down all 3, they can play Sasquatch on 3, but by only dropping 2, it loses all of its benefit. It also removes one of the reductions off of Mockingbird, which could have been the potential turn 4 play in conjunction with some other cards. Crimson Cosmos has the last location that Hovercraft wants to see, and it's back again as Sebastian Shaw starts to go tall in the Great Portal. We could see that Magneto do a major pull to steal the lanes in the Crimson Cosmos with the gift from the portal. Here's the Mobius, so there's the reduction gone. Sasquatch still the better card in that scenario, but the reduction is gone off of the Mockingbird, which essentially now sits as a dead card in the hand. Just as importantly, the reduction off of Sage is missing. So losing that turn 5 play, because it had the reduction applied via Ravona, was pretty big there to take a hit on. And a snap comes in. With the mystery Magneto in hand, looking to stack up in the Vibranium Mines, but pushes Hovercraft to say, I think I've got you for the championship. He felt confident enough to hold it and pushes Hovercraft up against the wall. Now, we've seen this before. We've seen this before. Hovercraft has to win 3 in a row at minimum to take the title. Meanwhile, Butt just has to win once. Leader Vault ramp up, that feels good. Keep the lane clear via Juggernaut, that feels good too. I like the Nocturne here. I like the Nocturne. Could be a great escape play simultaneously. Ooh. Playing into the fact that it's most likely a Brood. It's not. It's the Hope Summers into the vault, followed by Mobius and Nova. So there's all of the energy as Nocturne drops on down number 1. Morph is going to evolve into a Sebastian Shaw, and Kitty Pryde just starts her normal routine in Lemuria. Turn 5. And between Athena, Angela, and Juggernaut, with a Sebastian Shaw to boot, this is a pretty confident center lane without needing to have to worry about moving the Nocturne in on this turn. They could also do it via Sage and just straight up outpower them. If Gladiator were to drop on down for the middle lane, for example, that'd be too much power to have to work with against, as Juggernaut's going to smack that card out over to the right-hand side. Keeps the lane clear. It was the Sebastian Shaw. Explode on the Nova. Get the ramps to start to happen. It's not enough in the middle lane. And now it comes down to Hala. It all comes down to Hala. Losing that extra energy via the Sebastian Shaw might have been what just did in Hovercraft for the title. If they had 7, as he shows the frowny face on Juggernaut, if he had 7, he'd be able to do Surfer plus Absorbing Man. But pretty much has this in the bag, and Hovercraft gives the fist bump, saying that you probably have it here too. Is this the turn that determines our Season 2 champion? They go for it. Nocturne flips. It's a Lake Hellas. Here comes the Gladiator. Gladiator's gonna drop down an Iron Man and destroy it. While Gladiator feels good, then the Surfer puts 2 more on top of it. The magic number was only 12. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, here's a Kitty Pryde, here's a Mockingbird, there's 2 on Thena, and with that, we have our Season 2 champion, but has taken down LP Hovercraft for the crown. Wearing the crown proud on the rock right there. Absolutely stellar gameplay, absolutely wild locations, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Marvel Snap is all about. The RNG can be your best friend. It can also be your worst enemy. And depending on who you were rooting for or who you were in that match, you're looking at those locations going, that gave it to me, that failed me, that gifted awesomeness to me. But what I do know is that both of these players did not get here on luck. They did not get here on RNG. They got here by week after week showing consistency, showing the understanding of their opponents, understanding of their own piloting of the decks. They're showing every piece of it. And because of that, we now have our Season 2 champion. Our Season 2 champion has officially been crowned, and I am honored to say it's Butt. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this. I greatly appreciate you, my viewers. Whether you're here in the live chat, you're over here on YouTube, you're liking, subscribing, you're following, you're doing everything in between. I appreciate it. Y'all, I personally am on vacation now, officially, for the next 3 weeks. I will be back once Ajax appears in Marvel Snap, but I ask you simultaneously, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you simultaneously, what are you looking forward to in Marvel Snap? Let me know down in the comments below here on YouTube. And if you're here in the live chat, stick around. I'll come on to live feed for just a few minutes before I go on vacation. Thank y'all so much. Hang on out. I will see you back at the mid area somewhere. Yeah, mid of July. I hope y'all enjoyed this season of the Snap Judgments League. More of this action will be coming back to you in July. I look forward to it, and I hope you do as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see y'all next time.